Otra vez. Come here. Let me say something. I remember Tampa, the way she used to be, the places we would run to, the faces we would see. Yes, I remember Tampa, those precious memories, a city rising on the move, a simple yet progressive groove. I remember Tampa, and she remembers me. Yeah. She remembers me.
Welcome to the Tampa Native Show. Stay tuned now for the fastest 60 minutes in cable broadcast history. Live from the studios at TBCN, the home of the Tampa Native Show. Join your hosts, Mario Nunez, the 15-Minute Girl, and Steve Canella, as they celebrate growing up in Tampa. From Shock Armstrong to Shakey's Pizza, from Braddock Street to Buffalo Avenue. Get ready to call in and tell us your story.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
Because sharing your memories has never been this much fun. And now, Mario Nunez, the 15-Minute Girl, and Steve Canella.
She remembers me.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this, the Tampa Native Show, the only show of its kind in the known universe. You know, if it's Thursday night at 7 o'clock, it must be the Tampa Native Show. My name is Mario Nunez. I'm seated alongside my co-host,
Steve Canella,
a.k.a.
Tampa Steve.
And here to my left is Sally,
Nunez,
a.k.a.
the 15-Minute Girl.
There you go. Now you've got all the introductions. You know all the players. We're here in place tonight. Is going to be one of those shows. 60 minutes is just not going to be enough. But we've got a lot of business to take care of right up front. You know the theme for tonight's show is going to be the Tampa Brewery, Anheuser-Busch Brewery Part 2.
Part 2.
Steve had a lot to tell us the last time we were talking about this, and we just had to come back and give you a little more information. We've got that video that we weren't able to completely show you the last time we were here, so that's something to look forward to. Also, we've got Question of the Week. We've got the Tony Zapponi Tampa Trivia. It's just going to let's of
We got everything.
We got everything, and we're coming at you in 3D and at about 2,000 miles an hour. Listen, before we finish, let's talk a little bit about last week's show, guys. You have to agree with me.
Great show.
It was one of our best efforts to date. And thanks
Pretty much had it all,
thanks
I
in
think.
great part to Mr. Mike Clark, who joined us all the way from Los Angeles, California. Mike, who spent many productive years working at Big 13. Also, great thanks to Jim Hooper, who sat in with us that night and helped us in the
Absolutely.
booth. And we needed a lot of help that night because, boy, we had a lot of material. Eric Cups was also on site, and he helped us as well Mark Fisher. Mark, we know you're out there. You should be here with us tonight. We're looking forward to seeing you back in here next week. And, of course, at the controls, Mr. Jeffrey Haynes, who's doing it all every week. Thanks, Jeff, for being there also. We had last week, Uncle Bruce gave us a call all the way from his home in Minneapolis. We had Arch Deal called, Little Mike, exactly. Little Mikey called, which was great. Arch Deal called as well. It was just one of those shows that at the end was 90 minutes that felt like more like 45.
Well, that last week's show, hour and a half, it seemed like it was faster than the 1 hour shows. Now, I don't know how that's
Yeah,
possible
no,
at
it
all.
felt like that for me too.
We went
It
down
just
the
was,
proverbial
we had everything.
Rabbit hole last
We sure
week
did.
for
Yeah.
sure. And by the time it was all over, we sat here and shook our heads, just amazed that, again, we pulled it off. We had all those videos. And, of course, we didn't get it all in.
No.
I mean, 90 minutes,
Yes.
and we
Yeah.
didn't. We left some meat on the bone, as we like to say here. Mike's going to have to come back.
Yep.
We
Another
talked to him
show.
recently. He's probably going to be back in the fall, sometime closer to the holidays. And we promise you to have him back because, as you'll hear in just a few minutes when we go to our comment line callers, some of you were still left wanting for more. So that was last week's show. Let's talk a little bit about that comment line. Guys, you know we do have a comment line, I'm sure. Steve, why don't you tell them that number?
That number is, Maury, what is that number?
That number is
I built the website, but I don't-
813-920-2508.
There we go.
813-920-2508.
There it is.
I've never called the comment line myself.
It's right there on your screen. You should call the comment line.
I think I'll
and
call
you
it
should
tonight.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
We're going to play the comments that came in after last week's show because we think it's important. So we understand that sometimes callers can't get in, and they want to. So as a means of your participation, when you do call the comment line, we promise you that we will play those for you. So let's
And listen to them. We listen to them.
Of course. And without further ado, let's go ahead and go to those
funny, too.
comments.
Very funny.
Some of these people you'll know and recognize because they call the show frequently.
Some you won't.
Some may be from your past, and some may be from your imagination.
What's up now?
Let's give a listen.
This is Haji from Phoenix West Show. I'm all grown up now, and I look forward to seeing the show tonight, especially Steve going up the long escalator to where the beer again. Okay, but I know. Hi, this is Jim from Tennessee. I just want to call and tell you all the Big 13 show on Thursday night last was one of the best shows I've seen in the 2 or 3 seasons y'all been on the air. I love the interactivity with Mike Clark from LA and the videos and the pictures of the old time talent and shows at Big 13 and Plus News. For an old time TV news junkie like myself who spent 10 years working at Big 13, it was like a trip down memory lane. So keep up the great work, Mario and Campus Steve and Sally, and look forward to more shows like that in the future. Salute and happy days back. Bye.
Hey, Mario, Steve, and Sally, this is Mike Maluha. I just want to let you know how wonderful the WTVP episode was. I can't wait to see part 2 and the rest of the blooper reel. And please keep up the good work. Thank you from all the Tampa natives. Oh.
This is Eustace B. Haney. I just called to say it was such a good show. And for $5,000, you can have a copy of last night's show. Hank Kimball's got the machine on. Could you turn that down, Hank? Anyway, that was a fine show on Channel 13, and I'm happy to be a Tampa native. Bye, man.
Hey.
Well, that last call from Mr. Haney was,
Green
of course, from Green Acres was, of course, you'll recognize that voice. That was Ricky T. Parnell, our Deep South correspondent. He was also Haji from the famous Johnny Quest cartoon of our youth. That's Ricky T. Parnell. Ricky calling us all the way on his Magic Jack. Actually, he has to climb up the pole to make that call.
Great impersonations.
Mike
Man of
Maluha
many
and, of course,
voices.
Jim Hooper
Great calls.
was on the phone as well. Listen, we do so much here in so little time that we feel like every week when we're sitting here in front of you, we're privileged. We don't want, we're trying desperately not to allow ourselves to get too bogged down in too much detail, but when you realize just how much we have to say, you know, sometimes it gets to that point where we're doing it all and we're doing it all on the fly. Okay, that said, thank you to all of our callers. 920-2508.
Yes.
If you want to give us a call and you can't get in later on, call us on our comment line. We'll be sure and play that back for you. What did we do last night, guys? Let's talk a little bit about what we experienced last night.
Well,
Where did we go last night, darling?
Where did we go last night?
Well, we went to La Septima restaurant in Brandon. Of course we did.
Oh, that's
and, yeah,
right.
of course. And how could you forget that?
Because here's why I forgot.
Tell me, please.
Because we had the most delicious
That's
food
true.
we've ever
That's true.
had.
Yeah.
We had guava cheesecake
Yep.
that was to die for.
Yep.
And it just went all to my head, and I
you know, I haven't even eaten today. I'm so full from last night. What a
yeah,
wonderful
no,
meal.
it was a lot of food.
What we do every week here on the show is we talk about our sponsors. Our newest sponsor is La Septima Restaurant, La Septima Cafe, La Septima Cafe.
Cafe.
Cafe, don't forget. It's La Septima Cafe, Steve.
I got it.
702 Lumsden in Brandon. Now, let me tell you something. If you have not been there before, you owe yourself a favor. Put some gas in the car and take that drive out there on Adamo Drive. Go see Mr. Ron Fernandez and his wife Dahlia and let them treat you to a pretty special meal. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of our sponsors. Steve, you got your list there?
I
in front
sure
of you?
do. I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to give the sponsors, and you do what you do every week. You give the personal contributors.
Got
We're
it.
going to fly through this right quick. We want to say hello and great big thank you to the Alessi Bakery, to La Unione Italiana, to Wright's Gourmet Sandwich House, to Stematakis Thalgian Banano, to Amarilli Sandwiches and More, and of course Cacciatore Brothers, Philip Cacciatore, to PJ Testa Accounting, to South Tampa Chiropractic Clinic, to the Housewife Bake Shop, Columbia Jobbing, Florida Blood Services, the list is getting longer, the Colonnade, and as of last night, La Septima Cafe. Our personal contributors, Steve?
Frank Cueto, Ronnie DeRigo, chefs Dave Del Rio and George DeMargo, Henry and Raul Castillo, Phil and Carmen Nunez, Mike and Kathy White, Copeland and Stephanie Moret.
In keeping with what we were saying about La Septima, let me just go ahead once again. From the cast, of the Tampa Native Show. Welcome to our family of sponsors.
And thank you.
Ron and Dalia Fernandez, you have Una Mina de Oro, which is a gold mine for our non-Spanish speaking viewers out there. They're in Brandon, right there in Lumsden. We were treated to something called, last night we had the Walk Down 7th Avenue. Walk down 7th, not to be confused with
something else.
With what
With
Fran
what
Costantino,
Fran called it.
referred to it, the around the world. But that's another story altogether. It was the most amazing meal. You had this very healthy portion of yellow rice,
Yes.
coupled with a sampling of roast pork,
Picadillo.
picadillo, and of course ropa vieja. That was just an entree to set your palate ablaze. And then right behind that, of course, came the desserts. What you have to understand is that no expense is spared. And
Yes.
what Ron showed us last night, very proudly, I might
Tremendous
add,
hospitality.
when he went into the kitchen, he came back because we asked him about his yellow rice, which is amazing. So he came out of the kitchen with a tin,
Like a
very
little Christmas
clandestine.
tin,
It was
yeah.
kind of hidden
Yeah.
under his shirt, and he pulled it out on the table and he set it on the table and he said, "I want to show you something." So we all kind of leaned in. We weren't sure what we were in store for, and he opened up the tin and he took out a little plastic baggie. It had about 3 fingers worth of saffron.
Saffron.
In it. And he told us, he said, we don't scrimp, we don't cut corners here at La Septima. This is what we use to make our yellow rice taste as good as it is. And this goes for about $1,500
Yeah.
an ounce.
And the way he pulled it out of his pocket was amazing. It was so
It was
funny.
like the
It was
magic
very secretive.
powder,
You
which
know,
is
he
what
pulled
it
out.
is.
He
was
put
so-
it back.
Yeah.
He put it back in and sealed that and took it back to the vault and closed it up again. But let me
Safe.
tell you something. If you're in the mood for an amazing, delectable, and I wrote in my notes here, a meal that will excite and delight your palate, you got to go to La
I had the
Septima
best
Cafe.
Felici last
And
night
there's
as
lots
well.
to see there too. There's lots
Yeah,
of old
great.
pictures of Ybor and little mementos everywhere. It's really a really cool
Oh,
place.
you described it as a museum with food.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what it was.
And the curator emeritus is Ron Fernandez.
Exactly.
You know, you're going to get
Very nice
a
man.
tremendous meal, and you're also going to get an education. We saw some things there last night, including a original set of bolita balls.
You got a picture of that tonight.
Which we had
Yes.
never seen before,
Yeah.
which is in Ron's possession. So Ron, thank you so much for your
Thank you,
generosity, for
Ron.
being
We really
a member of our
appreciate it.
familia, and we greatly
That was great.
appreciate that. All right, guys, we're off and running. We'll get to the question of the day in just a second. I have to mention at the outset that we're going to be making an appearance this Saturday, Steve, myself, the 15-Minute Girl, at the Cuban Sandwich Festival, brought to you by Latin Times Media.
Can't wait.
It's going to be a super big event. It's going to be at Centennial Park. Starts at 10:30 on Saturday, goes till 4:30. There's going to be about 30 different competitors, all peddling their Cuban sandwiches as the best Cuban sandwich in the area. Steve will be one of the judges.
That's a lot of tasting.
So Steve,
A lot of
Steve will be
tasting.
sampling from all those
I'm not
sandwiches.
gonna
The
eat.
15-Minute Girl will be there to take
Saturday.
photographs.
Taking photographs.
And I'll be sharing the MC duties with Tony Morejon. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We encourage everybody, and it's a free
Come on
event.
out and see
10:30
us.
to 4:30.
You can't beat the price. It's free. Dress
Yeah.
cool, because it probably will be warm.
be
It's gonna be hot.
But
Muy caliente.
the mayor will be there. The chief of police will be there, Richard Gunsmart. There's going to be a celebrity panel, if you will, judging the competition. So
And Steve's on that
and
celebrity
Steve
panel.
is on that competition.
And I'll be sitting right between Bob Buckhorn and Jane Castro.
Wow,
Pretty
that's
nice.
pretty nice
Yeah.
seat.
Pretty good stuff. All right, question of the day coming up. Also, let me say, is this the time where I can go to my microphone here?
I think you can.
Okay.
There we
Listen,
go.
we take risks here at the Tampa Native
This is a
Show.
big
We
one.
say this every week, and I hope I do justice to this song. This is just a little something to get you in the mood for what we're going to do on June the 30th. About 6 tickets remain. Are you ready, Steve?
Ready?
Every man has a place, in his heart there's a space, and the world can erase his fantasies. Take a ride in the sky, on our ship Fantasy, and your dreams will come true right away.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Alrighty then.
that wasn't Earth, Wind, and Fire, but you know what? They will be there on the 30th of June after the Rays take on the Tigers. We got
And
6
we will
tickets
be
left.
there.
6 tickets left.
Yeah.
Only 6 tickets left. So if you want to go, I suggest you go ahead and call that hotline and say, hey man, that was a
Yeah,
pretty
please
good
do.
rendition of Fantasy,
You should
and
sing-
I want 2 tickets to the
Sing
game.
reasons. While you're
No,
at
man,
it.
that's about it.
That's kinda hard.
Let's not overdo it. Let's not overdo it, okay? As it is. All right, question of the week. Wow, we're already 12 minutes into the show.
I'm down, babe.
Fastest hour on 60 minutes.
It's kind of exciting, closer to 15. All right, because we got to get to our phone callers real quick. Question of the week brought to you by Stamatacus, Thalgi, and Bonanno. We've been working on this now. You know, back in the 70s, and the 80s, there were two different campaigns, Budweiser campaigns, commercials, if you will. And you might remember this. We want you to make a selection tonight. So when you call us and you give us your Bolita number, and you tell us your fond recollection of the Budweiser Brewery, and you talk to Steve, make sure you tell us whether you liked, your favorite was the Budweiser Frogs or the What's Up Guys. And just to remind you what it was like, it went a little something like this. Okay, guys, we're frogs. Remember, we're frogs.
Ribbit.
Bud. Bud. Bud.
Wise.
Bud. Bud.
Wise.
Bud.
Wise.
Those were your frogs.
That was it.
Now, how about this one? Who remembers this? Bring. Dookie, what are you doing?
Watching the game, having a bud.
True.
Bring. Yo, B. What's up?
What's up? Yo, Dookie, what are you doing?
What's up?
What are you doing, Duke?
What's up?
Having a beer, watching the game. True. What's up, guys? Or the Budweiser Frogs? That's your question of the week. All right. Now,
Great memories.
without further
And
ado,
tell us which one you like,
without
Yeah.
the
further ado,
original
we've got
or
to show
our
that
version.
video. We're going to show that film. We're going to come back right on the back side of that film. We're going to start talking about the brewery. Get ready to place your calls.
Right.
All right. Jeff, anytime you're ready to go to that video, ladies and gentlemen. Steve, want to set it up for us?
Yeah, the tour. This is a very rare video. It was taken about a year before the Anheuser-Busch Brewery closed in '95, December '95. And let's go ahead and play it. It's going to show the inside tour of the Tampa Brewery.
Rarely seen, or at least
Yeah.
haven't been seen
Yeah.
in, what, 35 years?
Been a while. This is the actual the brew hall. This is going into the brew hall. This is the tour that as soon as you got off the escalator, you ended up in this room here. It shows the beechwood chips that you're looking at right now on the floor. All the tanks, the beer was brewed with beechwood chips. The only brewery that did that, actually. The tour kind of progresses here. You'll see some of the areas that I worked in. And coming up is the brew hall, where the stage just starts. It's where the cooking of the beer, the cooking of the hops, so the mixing of the hops, the grain, the rice is all mashed together and boiled. And this is the initial stage of the process. But I worked in this room here. This is called the brew hall. This is where we dump the hops into the kettles, mix everything together. But got pretty hot up there. It was usually about maybe 85 to 95 degrees. And sometimes we'd have to run into the hop room, which is right next door, and that was 35 degrees. So you go back and forth from the hot to the cold. Okay, now as you see, we're heading towards this is the bottling, this is the filler room. We had a bottle line and 2 can lines. The bottle line ran 500 bottles a minute. The can lines ran over 1,000 cans per minute. So you had basically 2,500 units going out per minute. This ran 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this was the smallest brewery out of 13 breweries. So you can imagine all the breweries were kind of running at the same capacity at the time. It was nonstop. And for that reason, we thought, well, we're going to be here a long time. We have a job for life. The demand is definitely there. These bottles that you're looking at now, as they left the room, the filler room, they went out to the pasteurizer. They got pasteurized. And after that, the labels were put on. They got put in the cartons, in the packaging, sent to the palletizers. From there, the guys out in packaging would pick them up with a tow motor, fork truck, and load them onto the truck. So they went right out of the brewery, right on the road. So same thing with the cans. They went to the pasteurizers, these huge pasteurizers that heated the beer up to pasteurize them. And then from there, they got canned and got put in the 6-packs, the 12-packs, the cases, out to the palletizer and also out to the beer trucks. But fond memories. It was very, very loud in there. You can't hear it from this. We had to wear earplugs. You didn't wear them to pretty much damage your ears. In fact, I have a little bit of high frequency loss to this day for not wearing my earplugs all the time. My fault. But very, very loud. But incredible video. It's very rare. It's perfect memory of the years at Anheuser-Busch Brewery. I'm sure a lot of guys that I actually work with, a lot of my coworkers are watching this video thinking, wow, how about that?
That was good
and
stuff.
I hope they call in and talk about that too.
And they will. We'll give them that number in just a minute. As we get ready to give you the number, we want to give you the Tony Zapponi Tampa Trivia question of the week as well. And remember, what's at stake here is a portrait session with Pepito of Pepito Masterpiece Portraits.
Very nice
202
prize.
South Lois Avenue. Okay, it's worth,
That's a
it
good
has a retail value of about $250.
Absolutely.
You'll receive a digital image I have here in my notes of the disc. And the best of your photo shoot, if you will, and you can use it on your website or for any purpose. That's very generous. That's pepitoportraits.com. And here comes your Tony Zapponi. And this one is tough, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen. I thought the one about the
I don't know this
zucchini
one.
truck was tough. This one, I don't know. Good luck to everybody. Get ready to call
Somebody
in
will guess.
with all that information you have to give us. And at just about 20 minutes past the hour, we're ready to open up the phone lines. Well, here's your question of the week. For nearly 50 years, he ran hundreds of model railroads in Tampa, repairing them, laying track for new lines, and giving tours of his prized new cars. His station was at 3818 South Himes Avenue, just north of where the crosstown is today. What was his name? Okay? Again, this gentleman, for 50 years, he ran, apparently, he had a shop where he repaired model trains, and he had the model trains set up, and you could go and visit with him and watch the trains run. And if you had a train selection set yourself and you needed something repaired, he was the man to go see in Tampa. What was his name? All right, good luck, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck.
You know,
There's a lot at stake here.
He makes some hard questions, doesn't he?
Well, they're getting harder, I
We
think.
told him to, because so far he hasn't had the opportunity to stump anybody, but this week may just be his
Might
first.
be the week.
May just be his
By
first
the way,
stump.
the Tony Zapponi question of the week is brought to you by Tony Peroni, Housewife Bake Shop.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you,
You got
Steve.
it.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, we're going to open up the phone lines now as we begin our conversation. There's the line.
Let's talk about this picture.
Yep, there's the number in front of you, 813-977-6800. Steve,
Now, that number I do know.
tell us a little bit about, let's go back to that article real quick. And Steve, tell us, what was it like that day,
Well,
man, when, you know, the brewery finally closed?
I tell you, this picture says it all. This is Renal Abel, the plant manager, and his hand over the forehead kind of exemplifies what we all felt that day when we got the announcement of the brewery closing. It was it was devastating for us. It was impactful to the community. I can't speak for everyone, but for myself, I was affected emotionally by the closing of the brewery, and I think it was mainly because of the overwhelming sense of pride and loyalty that I had to the company. Because this just wasn't any company. This was the world's largest brewer. And we didn't just make any beer. This was the king of beers. And if you had me in the picture, you'd see my air quotes right now. Yeah, king of beers. But no, it really made a big impact on the way we felt.
Why was it closed?
Well, there's several reasons. The main reason, in a nutshell, and some of the guys that I used to work with when they call in, guys and girls, may help clarify some of these other reasons. But the main reason was the brewery took up 17 acres in the center of Busch Gardens. And as you remember, Busch Gardens is landlocked.
Yes.
By 30th Street, McKinley. On the north and south boundaries, it's Busch Boulevard and Bougainvillea.
Yeah.
So there was nowhere to really expand beyond that because of the landlock. So the only way to expand was expand within. And if you think about it, I didn't even know. I worked there all those years. I didn't even know we took up that much space, 17 acres.
But
we have a picture near the end of the show tonight. You'll see that kind of shows the actual the whole plot and the space that the brewery took. But going back to the pride and loyalty that we all had, myself, I was like a walking billboard. I had all the Budweiser hats, the T-shirts, the jackets. I had the keychains, umbrellas. I even had a Budweiser pocket knife with Budweiser written on the case and on the blade too. But we got 30% off at the Gardens. So every time we went there to the labels table, I don't know if you remember that.
Well, it was your first job, Stevie. And,
Oh,
and
well,
it was a job that you thought you were going to have for life. And if I can throw this in there, it looks like, and it sounds like, hearing you tell the story, and I've heard it before, but it sounds like everybody just felt like they got kicked in the stomach. Like, they had the rug pulled out from under them. We've got two callers
you
waiting.
could
Just
understand
run
that,
the callers.
yeah.
But I get
true,
that
it's
sense.
true.
I get that sense because it was like family. And to that, let me just add, it's probably a good thing that the technology was not available to have your car wrapped in a Budweiser wrap, because I'm guessing Steve would have had his car wrapped in Budweiser wrap.
He was a good employee.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Kiki Castillo.
Hi, Kiki Castillo.
hi.
Good to hear
How you
from
doing,
you,
Kiki?
our friend over there at Castillo's Cafe,
How you
watching.
doing over there?
Hi.
I love that little segment on the Busch Brewery.
Thank you. That was the film that we lost the last time halfway through, and I'm glad you got to watch it
pretty
this
rare.
time.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing your show there. I just want to call you and tell you thank you, and you guys do a good job there.
Thank
We
you.
thank you so much, Kiki.
You do a good job too over
Was
there.
it the Frogs or the What's Up guys? Do you recall? Which was your favorite?
Oh, I like them all. You guys are all great.
Okay, we're all great. We'll put you down for all great. And how about your number of the week, your Bolito number drawing?
Oh, my Bolito number today, I think it's going to be a lucky 12.
12. Oh, that's
and
a
you are
good
pretty
number.
lucky because you've won before, Kiki.
Right.
Yes, already.
Say hello to everybody over there watching at Kiki's
Hi,
at
guys.
Castillo's Cafe. We'll come see you soon.
Okay, man. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. That was great.
Excellent, excellent. Kiki, we can always count on him to start things off for us. Look at that picture right there. Let's get this call real quick, and we'll come back to that picture and discuss.
Certainly will.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, sir. This is Hugh from South Tampa.
Hi,
You're
Hugh.
from South Tampa. How are you?
Yeah, how you all doing?
Hello, Hugh.
Great.
Good.
I had a question for Steve. I also had a comment regarding the Busch beer. And do you all remember that commercial where Salty Salt Flashman ended up riding on the back of the beer wagon?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember
That might have been
that
a
at
little
all.
bit before my time.
I don't
But
remember that.
was it early Channel 13, talking black and white, color? Were we doing color already?
Probably going to be black and white. It's probably going to be early to mid-'60s, just before color came in.
Was it the Budweiser wagon with the Clydesdales he was right on the back of?
Yeah, with a Clydesdale. He was
Okay.
on the back of it, and he waved. He was riding on the back of it or something, and
How
he waved.
cool.
Maybe a parade.
Yeah.
Gasparilla.
Wish we had that picture.
I think Budweiser was a big sponsor of Salty Salt's show, and as a result, I'm sure that the parties at his house were pretty well
Fun.
provisioned.
Sure.
Yeah. I had the question I had for Steve was, you know, Roger Maris, the home run slugger, 61 home runs originally.
Right.
The original record, broke Babe Ruth's record, I should say, in '61. He finished up with the Cardinals in 1968, and as a part of his contract, he was awarded a Busch beer distributorship, and I believe it was in Jacksonville. But my question is,
That's right.
Wow.
your years with Busch, did you ever see him visit there, or did you ever have happen to meet him at any function?
Hugh, no, I didn't. I sure didn't. That would have been a great.
I didn't know
honor
that. That's pretty cool.
to have met him. But you're right. That was Maris Distributing in Jacksonville. Similar thing happened with Ozzie Smith with the St. Louis Cardinals. When he retired, he had a distributorship in St. Louis. Now, speaking of
It's quite a
distributorships-
prize.
Oh yeah, there was
Man.
one in Lakeland called it was Little Distributors. Bernie Little. Remember the Miss Budweiser speedboat drivers?
Sure, of course.
Sure.
Well, when August Busch III would come down to the brewery for different functions, he would actually go to Lakeland first. They'd ride back in Bernie Little's helicopter, land in the parking lot at the brewery, and from there, disembark and go into the brewery. But yeah, oh yeah, if you had a Budweiser distributorship, you were set for life. I mean, definitely.
That's great.
Good to be
Good
a
question.
Cardinal, huh? Good to be
Yeah.
a Cardinal, I would say. Hey, Hugh,
Great comments.
frogs
Hugh.
or what's up guys? I think he was
Oh,
going to
the
go with the
frogs,
frogs.
for sure.
Yeah, I thought he was. Hugh, you're not a what's up guy. I know you, brother. You're not a what's up guy, but that's okay because I like the frogs too.
This is Roger, yeah.
Yeah, and tell us your Bolita drawing number.
Number 23.
23 it is. Hugh, thanks so much for calling. Listen, I got your call when you called the comment line.
Yeah.
But I think what had happened was, since you called us from your work phone and you were hiding from the boss, you were talking so low that it didn't come out. It was inaudible.
How do you know he was
So the
doing
next
that?
time you call us, make sure you're on your break so you can speak up nice and loud.
Okay, will do.
Thanks, Hugh.
Bye, Hugh.
Have a
Thanks,
great
Hugh.
evening.
Thank you.
That was a great 13 show. I was just awesome.
It was.
It was.
Thanks.
We're going to do it again. Thanks for watching.
All right, thank you now.
Thanks,
Bye.
bud. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, going back to the loyalty of the brewery and the
All right,
pride.
here we go.
Oh, before you do that call? Oh yeah.
Yep, got a caller
Well-
on line for it? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to mention real quick the another feeling of the brewery closure was a total sense of loss, and it was a threefold sense of loss. It was a loss of family because we were all family basically. We mentioned that last time. Loss of security because it was a good paying job. We had unlimited overtime, and being there 13, 15, 17, and myself 17 years. Some people more than that, 20. To be lost without an income and something all you knew how to do was make beer, and that's all I knew how to do. I had no degree, no skills. The only skill I had was making beer. So you had that sense of loss. But the third and most important sense of loss was, you want to care to guess? Loss
Friendship?
of family, loss of
Yeah.
security, and
Hang
loss
on.
of.
Identity.
You got it.
Identity.
Good job. Nice.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
just
tell
a
him,
wild
folks.
guess, and we didn't talk about that in pre-production.
But it's true. It's true.
But he gave us a little foreshadowing because he said that he had the keychain, he had the hat, he had,
Well,
he was Mr. Budweiser.
Mr.
Before he was
Budweiser.
Tampa Steve, he was Budweiser Steve.
Well,
what can I tell you,
and
man?
not only that, it was what
He still has that jacket,
I was
too.
a brewer. That was my title. A
No,
brewer.
you were a hose thrower. Now let's talk about that for a minute.
Well, yeah, there's a good discussion on Facebook about that.
Yeah, there was a good
with
discussion.
Rick Pauley.
We'll talk about that
That
in just a
doesn't
minute.
sound
Steve
very
Pauley.
nice.
And let's hope this is Rick now. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Tom from New York.
Hey,
Hey,
Tom.
Tom from New
Hey,
York, our
Tom.
Northeast correspondent.
Tom, what's
Hey,
new?
how you doing? Hey, last week's show, it wasn't in miles per hour. It was Mach 10 with your
Wow.
hair on fire.
With your hair on fire, my brother.
That's right.
You're exactly right. And it felt like it, and I tell you
We
what.
had fun, too.
When we watched the playback, it was just as fast to watch the playback. We watched the playback not for any other reason than to watch ourselves on camera because, let's face it, we do look good. But the reality is we do it from a production standpoint as well. We want to
Yeah.
make sure that we're hitting our marks, we're in and out of the breaks, and everything is working the way it's
Yeah.
supposed to be. But we're fans also. And we were sitting there as captivated as you were with Mike's stories last week, and of course the footage. We can't get enough of that.
Unbelievable.
And the thing is, Tom's not even from here, and he's fascinated.
Well, Tom, you said something last week that
was great.
is not lost on us, and there was
Right.
another gentleman that called also from Riverview that shared with us. You know, you guys say, well, you know, I didn't grow up there. I'm not from Tampa, but you guys make us feel like we wish we had grown up there, and that's pretty high praise, Tom. So thanks for those kind words.
Yeah, it was special.
You're absolutely welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Walk down 7th Avenue. You mentioned yellow rice. Well, that's food, so I'm with you there,
brother. Let me tell you. And did you remember the frogs and the What's Up guys from the Budweiser commercials?
What's up?
What's up?
Very nice, Tom.
Put him down for What's Up. Tom,
What's up?
What's your bolita number for the week?
That's going to be 42.
42.
42, brother. 42. No, that's okay. Listen,
42.
sometimes you got to play a
Wazza.
hunch.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 42, sometimes it's 17. I got you. I got you, brother.
Sometimes it's number 8.
All right.
Thanks for calling,
Thanks
Tom.
for
We
calling,
appreciate you
Tom.
watching.
Tom.
Anytime, call.
All right, folks. You take care.
Thanks,
too.
Tom.
You too.
That's our Northeast correspondent, Tom, calling from New York. Hey, let's talk about the hospitality suite, man.
Well, that's great. That's an old picture from looks like the 60s. And that just stopped about a year and a half ago with the serving of the beer. Anheuser-Busch was sold off to another company called InBev. And we never thought that would happen, ever.
You mean like stop, like...
Well,
They don't give free beer
They
anymore?
mean like
no
at
more.
any of the breweries.
Right. Well, I don't know about the other breweries, but Busch Gardens for sure. They took out
They
the,
still
the
had
free
that
beer.
here even though the brewery was gone? They still had the hospitality suite here, the hospitality house? Because you said
Well,
it
they
stopped
did.
about a year
They
and a half
did.
ago. And
Yeah.
I'm just
No, they
wondering.
I
did.
didn't even know that.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they
because
still
the beer was
had
coming
it.
from Jacksonville anyway.
I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
it was a draft beer. So
So they're always going to, and we talked about that last week because who was it that called up? That was it Rob?
Bob Carpenter.
Bob called up
Yeah.
and told us that they didn't. All they made here were the bottles and the cans because the kegs were actually produced. The beer for the kegs, you know.
Well, before I started, they did make kegs there. So
That's
the beer
what it was.
did come
That's right,
from
because
the
he was
brewery.
here longer.
Right.
He was at the brewery
Right.
longer than you were.
Exactly.
And Bob, if you're out there watching, man, call back in. Tell us another funny story because I know you got funny stories. Is that man wearing lederhosen? Is that man pouring the beer?
I
in
think he is.
lederhosen?
Yeah, it looks
think
like
you're right.
it.
And
Unless
keep it-
he's wearing some kind of
In keeping
bib
with
or
the German
something.
tradition,
It does
because you
look
know
like
Oktoberfest and everybody's wearing their lederhosen
Yeah.
and the little hats, the little alpine hats.
Look at that giant fish on the wall too.
The fish is amazing. I remember that place, and we talked about it the last time we had the show. That the pouring of the beer and the
Yeah.
perfect pours, and it was quite an experience to go there as a kid, free of charge. Hey, we got a caller on line 4.
There we go.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, callers, you got lines open. If you'd like to call us now,
Absolutely.
977-6800. Tampa Steve is here. We're going to call him Budweiser
Budweiser.
Steve
There you
for
go.
tonight.
Hey, I like that.
Ask him a question. We've got questions answered by Steve. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Rick Pauley from Cartersville, Georgia.
Hey,
Well,
Rick
there's
Pauley.
Rick from Rick Pauley. How you doing, Rick?
Hey, is this host thrower Steve?
Steve
Yeah,
is right
I'm
there.
right here.
This is Mario, and that's Sally right there.
Rick, thanks for calling in
Mario.
tonight.
Hey, I'm sorry, I can't get a hold of you guys up here in Georgia. We don't believe in cable TV or.
Oh my!
But wait a minute. You have internet, Rick?
No, don't even have internet right now.
All right, bro.
Oh, wow.
We would like to welcome you to the 21st century as soon as possible. So, hey, you got a question or a comment for Steve, and I want you to talk a little bit about hose throwing, man. I don't know what that is, but
Yeah, he saw that on
it
Facebook.
sounds like a tough job.
It was for Steve. You know, those hoses might have weighed about 10, 15 pounds, and he had to carry them all over the cellars down there to
And they were long.
pump beer. So.
And cold, too. I bet it was cold down there.
Yeah, Rick worked in the production department. In fact, the filler room. Rick, what'd you think about that video with the filler room?
Hey, I like that. That was pretty good.
Did that bring back some memories for you?
Well, he didn't see it, but
Oh, that's right. You didn't see it. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But he liked
Well,
it when he worked
we're
there.
going to show it to you.
You still remembered it.
We got to cut you a DVD. Now, tell me you got a DVD player up there somewhere, man, because we will get you a copy of this DVD, Rick, and we will send it to you, because I got to be honest with you. Steve pulled a rabbit out of his hat. He brought some old footage from the brewery that we hadn't seen in years. And for those of us that grew up here and used to frequent Busch Gardens when it was just a simple place, kind of a brewery and not much else, that was the highlight of the tour, man. We'd go through it and we'd watch those cans and bottles being filled at 1,000 miles an hour, and it was amazing to watch the cans kind of turn, and as they would turn coming off the conveyor, upright themselves, and then, of course, getting filled up and getting capped. It was pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting for sure.
Now, did you guys have a friendly rivalry between, say, the hose throwers and the bottle cappers, or whatever you called yourselves in that room?
No, heck no. They all did all the hard work. We just sat back and watched.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
I get it now.
It was a very physical
Nice job.
It was.
So Steve did the grunt work, and y'all just sat back and smiled and looked good in your uniforms.
That's right.
Did you wear uniforms, Rick?
No.
No, we didn't have any uniforms.
Okay.
And Rick started about the same time I did. I think that's right, Rick. I started in 78. When did you start?
77.
77,
There you
okay.
go.
And we played softball over the years with City League, County League, Budweiser. We also went to St. Louis 2 years in a row.
How
Played at
much
Busch
fun
Stadium.
could you guys have at one
Man.
place of work?
We had a great time.
Oh.
Yeah, it was, you didn't even want to go home half the time, you know what I mean?
We didn't. We worked a lot
Well,
of
Steve
overtime.
mentioned at the last show, Rick, and he said that, because there was unlimited overtime and it was a nice union, good paying job, you guys would take advantage of it. Now, back in $77, $78, that was pretty good. I could see
Went a little
I could
further.
see you driving your little Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am or doing, some fun stuff on the weekends, because we were all living for the weekend back then. But you had the money to do it. Now,
Yeah.
if you spent all that time working there and collecting that overtime, hell, you probably saw your Budweiser family more than you saw your own family. Is that about right?
That's true.
That's exactly right.
That's true. That's why we were family, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Good stuff,
That's like
man.
firemen, kind of like the same.
When they closed, Rick, I'm sorry, Steve, I was
No,
going
but-
to ask, when they closed, what did you end up doing?
That's what I was going to ask him.
I transferred up here to Cartersville, Georgia, and for work here for 2 years and retired.
Okay.
From
okay.
Budweiser? From Budweiser, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know
Okay.
there
And you
was
kept
one
the
there.
same type of job, or did you have to kind of learn a new skill? Did you transfer into another department?
No, I did the same thing.
Oh, great.
Very
On a
nice.
bigger scale.
Well, listen,
Oh, sure.
we have a drawing here every week where we give something away, a prize at the end of the show. So we're going to ask you for your favorite number, your lucky number, I should say, between 1 and 75. Give us something, Rick.
22.
22 for
22,
Rick.
you
And Rick,
got
do you
it.
remember back in the 70s and 80s? Actually, I think it was the 80s and 90s. Let's be honest about this. It wasn't the 70s. That's too early. But in the 80s and 90s, they had the two commercials that kind of came one after the other. The Budweiser Frogs and then the What's Up Guys. You remember those commercials?
Yes, indeed.
Did you have a favorite?
We all did.
The Frogs or the What's Up Guys?
I like the frogs. But
There you go.
All
Put
right.
Rick down
Okay,
for
we're
the
taking a
Frogs.
poll here.
Yeah, we're just taking a very unscientific poll, man. We just do
So
this
far,
every
the
week.
frogs are out in the head, out ahead.
Hey, Rick, thanks for
Thanks so
calling,
much, Rick.
Steve.
All
Man,
right,
great to
buddy.
hear from you.
We'll have a great time up there. See you, Steve.
You got it. Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, buddy. See you soon.
Hey, man.
Bye-bye.
Speaking of those hose throwers, look at these hoses here in the background.
Wow.
He's right. Some of these hoses
Look
were,
how long
Those
that
are
hose is.
huge.
And that- if you had to drag one hose from one end of the hall to the other, and it's sloshing around, and there's liquid or beer or whatever's in there. And man, did you just
That's-
go home every day
Exactly
throwing
how
out
did
beer?
you throw those hoses?
Well, we didn't really
Because
throw them.
I'm
I
interested.
don't know why it was called hose
Well, because
throwers.
you're like a
Well, you have to
fireman.
throw them over your
You
shoulder,
throw them over
basically.
your shoulder.
What
and
was
drag-
that, John?
drag-
Lug them from one end to the other. You couple them up on another
Those
tank.
tanks, those tanks there, we had to actually crawl. See those little doors, the little porthole doors?
Yep,
Yes.
yep.
We had to crawl in those tanks, so you had to be very limber to get one
And
leg
small,
up there,
I would
squeeze
think.
your body in, and we would actually push the yeast out of the tank. And someone was on the outside, maybe pumping the beer or the yeast out, I should say. And but it was
How did
if
you
had
push
if
the
you were
yeast
afraid of
out?
well, we had paddles. These big
Oh,
paddles. We
okay.
went in there with
Oh,
boots, heavy
man.
boots. And,
I imagine,
I had no
the work could be
idea.
kind of dangerous too, huh?
well, it was. They had accidents here and there, but nothing really major.
Slip and falls?
Yeah, a few. You had to be careful. We work with acid and different chemicals.
Oh.
And sometimes you get sulfamic acid on you.
Easy for
Here,
you to say.
these tanks here. Speaking of the acid, we had to clean these directly. There was something called chip crew. It was a 3-man team, and we worked on the tanks. We had like 4 hours to work on each tank. We had to clean the inside, clean the outside. We had to crawl in that little door, and they're glass lined. They're perfectly round. They're glass lined. So and there's full of yeast and chips in there. So needless to say, because it's glass, it's slippery.
Yeah,
so not
very.
only are you on a slippery surface because of the yeast and the water, but it's perfectly round. So you had to walk dead center
Wow.
down the middle of the tank, and that tank was long too. And then you had to basically clean the ceiling of the tank with big long brushes, and you would fling the sulfamic acid
Fling
to
it?
knock some. Well, what happened was when the beer would lower from the tank, the crust of the beer, the foam, would stay up there and would harden, and it was really hard to get off. You couldn't just brush it. You had to actually throw acid first, let it eat some of the beer stone.
Sure, loosen it up a little
You
bit.
loosen it up, and then you get the big tall brushes, and you had to walk down the tank. So you're looking up at the what you're
I hope
doing.
you had some kind of
Oh, you had
Protective
safety
gear,
glasses.
yeah, safety glasses, goggles,
But you're-
protective gear.
But you're walking down the center of the tank, looking up in a very slippery environment, so
Yeah.
it's easy to fall. But I got really good at it. I was able to actually run down the tank and slide like I was skiing. You know?
Oh, man.
Wow.
But it took some getting used to.
Stevie, we got 2 callers
We do.
here waiting to talk
Let's
to
go.
you, and
Let's
I'm
go.
sure they've got interesting questions for you. I've got an interesting question for you as
Oh,
well. I
that-
want to know more about the Brawny guy that's in that picture
That's
right
the Brawny
there.
paper towel guy.
Brawny paper.
Is that
But
Steve?
I also want to know because you wax so eloquently about your days working at the brewery, and
Mm-hmm.
the sentiment that you share with us, the fondness that you have for it, is not lost on me. I get it, man. I get it. You worked there for 17 years. You thought you were going to be there for 40 and retire from there with your gold watch and your pension. Good union paying job. You know what's coming, bro, because I can see you smiling already, and here it comes.
I have a feeling.
Dude, you worked like mad in that job. That was like a hard job.
Yeah,
How could you be like so fond of a job where you had to work so hard? It was kind of dangerous.
Well, the benefits were great.
No,
I'm off my
I mean, you know.
soapbox.
It was
Caller,
fun.
you're on the air. We're just having fun with Steve tonight. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, this is Bob Carpenter again, Steve.
Hey, Bob Carpenter.
Oh, y'all are doing a fantastic job.
Good to
Thank
hear,
you,
Bob.
Bob. Thanks so much.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
calling.
You're bringing back a lot of memories. I tell you, that was a family situation out there, Steve.
Wasn't it, Bob? I mean, we were family.
It was one of those things where everybody knew each other, and it was just a good camaraderie type thing. Steve, I wanted to tell you, though, Roger Maris was in Gainesville, Florida.
Oh, you're right. Thanks for correcting me a second time, Bob.
Boy.
He was in Gainesville, Florida. That was when Art Pepin come to Tampa, and then Roger took over the Gainesville district.
That's right. I got Jacksonville
And I'm going to tell you what, he was in the brewery one time. Of all the years I was there, I saw him and his brother come through one time out of all those years. And he stopped and talked to several people around there and even give several people his autograph.
Oh, I never got to meet him.
Nice.
That would have been great.
Yeah, but we had some great times out there, Steve. You're bringing back a lot of good memories. Y'all
Man.
keep up the good work.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Good to
Thank
hear
you,
from
Bob,
Thanks,
for
Bob.
calling. We appreciate your call.
Do you want to
Listen,
give me your Bolita number,
There you
Bob?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, my Belita number is 13.
13.
Lucky 13.
and frogs or what's up, guys? Do you
I
have a-
like the frog.
Everybody likes the frogs. Somebody calling in like the what's up, guys. Hey, Bob,
Thanks,
thank you so
Bob.
much for being a fan. We appreciate
Thank
you
you, Bob.
watching.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad Bob's keeping up on me here.
Thank you now.
Keeping
Oh,
me
we
on
got
track.
another caller on 4. Let's see
Wow.
who this is.
Here we go.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Tony Zapponi. How are you doing?
Hey,
Hi,
Tony
Tony.
Zapponi. Listen, nobody's even ventured a guess at your question this week.
I feel really bad. It's a great prize. I want somebody to get it.
But don't
It
give
is
no
a
more
great
hints, though.
prize.
Listen, we could always roll this over, man.
No,
I
we
mean, next week, you know, or if you
give
want
more
to, I can
time.
disclose it at the end because let's face it, between now and next week, somebody can fire up the Google machine and figure it out. But
Busch Gardens question.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of national TV shows were recorded at Busch Gardens over the years. Jack Hanna's Animal Adventures, Captain Kangaroo did a couple of Saturday shows from there. Dinah Shore did a whole week of shows from there. Dick Clark did a variety show from there. And of course, Jack Harris did his local show, Harrison Company, 5 days a week, live from there for quite a time. The alternate question is, in the 60s, the number one Friday night drama show filmed about a third of their adventure at Busch Gardens, and the escalator figured prominently in this adventure. The rest of the program was filmed in other parts of Tampa. What was the program?
Drama.
wow, was it action
That's hard.
adventure? Was it?
You said it was
You said it
drama.
was drama. Was it like a cop drama? Was it action adventure?
It's action adventure, and
Okay.
it featured a very nice car.
Very good. Call back in and tell our producer what the answer is. So obviously you won't say it here and disclose it, but call back in, tell us the answer in case somebody who's calling now in the last 15 minutes of the show gets a chance to win that prize.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Tony. We
Tony.
appreciate you.
What about his
Bye-bye.
number?
Tony, your Bolita number, quick.
21.
21 for Tony.
Okay.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Tony. Good.
Bye-bye. We got about 15 minutes to go. They're whispering in my ear. I don't like that when the producer
Where did-
tells us we have 15 minutes
How
to
does it
go.
go
I don't
so
like
fast?
that
It's
because
incredible.
here we
Well,
are.
that's my
You know, we
time.
still got stuff to do, and we still got callers, and
this
So
photo,
should
too.
we still got stories to
postpone?
tell us.
This
And
little
look at the
photo.
hoses there again.
There's a neat story about this photo.
Oh my goodness.
This photo here, by the way, you see the hoses, they're color-coded. You have the red band, the blue band, and the green band.
Yes.
And these are coming out of the filter cellar, going under the wall, into the cans and bottles that we saw in the video.
Okay.
And quick question, Budweiser was the red hose.
Yes.
Busch beer was coming out
Blue.
the blue. What was the green?
I got it.
What?
I don't know, but if you can't see me because I'm out of the picture right
He's
now.
raising
but
his hand.
But as ridiculous as
I
it
don't
may
know.
sound,
I don't know
I
beer that
actually have my
much.
hand up. Can I guess?
You guess?
Michelob.
Nope, we didn't make Michelob there.
I'm sorry, my
It was
bad.
actually O'Doul's.
Oh,
Remember we had the green can? It was
O'Doul's.
the
I
non-
would've never
non-alcoholic
thought
beer.
that.
It should have been green. That's right. Okay, we've got a caller on line 5 that we need to get to. Then we've got to come right back. Actually, let's do this because it's only going to take about 30 seconds.
Okay.
with about inside of 15 minutes to go. Darling, will you give us the 15-minute girl special announcement?
Yes, I will.
Brought to you by.
This 15-minute girl special announcement is brought to you by South Tampa Chiropractic Clinic.
Say it loud, say it proud.
Dr. Tom Aguero. And the special announcement is that we have we don't have a lot. We have a few tickets remaining for the Rays game with the Earth, Wind, and Fire concert following, which is going to be fantastic.
Which they got a little sampling of that earlier.
Yes, thanks to my husband.
Well,
His
hello.
wonderful voice.
Oh, well.
So, yeah, and I would just like to say that this has been brought to you by the 15-Minute Girl, and I'm from Tampa, not Tampa Bay.
Whoopsie.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Let's go to the caller. Thank you, darling. She's from Tampa, not Tampa
Another
Bay.
caller.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Ernest Antonori, and I'm calling from Tampa, Florida.
Well, hello, Ernest
Welcome.
Antonori. How are you, sir?
Who is this?
This is Mario Nunez. I'm seated alongside my broadcast partner, Steve Canella, who you might know.
Yes, in fact, Mario, that's why I'm calling.
Hi.
To talk to Steve, because
Okay.
we worked many years together.
We sure did, Ernie. And
Talk
I know him
away.
as Ernie.
I
And I
can't hear
know-
my voice on the phone. Steve, this is Ernie.
Ernie, thank you for calling. Great to hear from you. How are you?
I haven't seen or heard from you guys in a long time. I just
been-
wanted to call and comment and tell you guys what a hell of a good job you're going. I used to be with the Brewery. I put in 32 years with Anheuser-Busch, and I'll tell you what, like Bob Carpenter has just got through saying, no one can possibly know the closeness and the familyness that
So
we had
true.
at that Anheuser-Busch. You didn't go to work as a company, you went to work as a family. And I think, Steve, you'll agree on that, will you not?
I absolutely agree. In fact, that's the common key word is family, really. And that's how I see it.
Those jobs are very rare, too.
Yes,
And
it is, Steve.
Ernie,
Steve, you're doing a good little job. You look good.
Oh, thank you,
Son
Ernie. And
Richard, who, by the way, we used to work for Anheuser-Busch also. And
in Ohio.
it's been a long time. I used to be in with quality control.
Yes, he worked in the lab for 32
Yes,
years.
in the lab. Yes, we did all the checking. We had to check all the guys from the barber shop and the brew hall, too.
Ernie,
Wow.
Ernie, quick question. Do you still hang out with the guys from the lab that used to go have cafe con leche and Cuban toast?
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
I can't see you. I'm sorry.
Oh, do you still go hang out with the guys, Roger
Yes,
Badia?
we still have our little cafe con leche.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, we still meet together once in a while. But Steve, you guys are doing a hell of a good job. Keep up the good work. And I'll tell you what, this is the first time I've listened. In fact, my little nephew told me about it.
How
Oh,
nice.
okay.
And but you know where I'll be every Thursday
Thursday
evening
night.
at 7 o'clock.
We need your Bolita number.
This is Mario Nunez once again. Listen, we feel very, very special when we get callers like this that
Great.
the first time they find our show, the first time they get a chance to watch. And thank you so much for your kind words. We don't take them lightly. We appreciate that. Before you go, give us your Bolita number because we're going to do a drawing here in a few minutes, and you might win a La Septima Cafe t-shirt.
How about 33?
33.
33. Let's see. I think it is.
Got it?
Yes, sir?
Oh, and listen, I like the frog.
Yes.
All right,
Okay,
thank you
good.
so much.
Thank
Well,
you.
again, we like the frogs. There we go. Thank you,
Thank
Ernie. Thanks
you.
for calling. Call anytime. We're here every Thursday.
Take care.
Great to hear
Bye-bye.
from him.
Oh, that is great.
I love working
That
with
is
Ernie
great.
Antonori.
All right,
He's
let's
great.
see who's on line 4. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, this is Hugh from South Tampa again. I just wanted to try that alternate trivia question.
The alternate
Okay.
trivia
Okay.
question? Okay, I don't know the answer, but I'll get a thumbs up from the producer. Let's go ahead. This is Hugh from South Tampa. Take it away, Hugh.
Okay, I'm going to guess Route 66.
Do I get a...
Wow.
Here we go.
Ladies
I
and
did not
gentlemen,
know that.
Hugh Perrette, most recent winner of 10 pounds of Italian sausage from Cacciatore
Cacciatore's.
Brothers. I don't even know if he's claimed his winnings yet. You better hurry, Hugh, because I think those sausage have a shelf life. You are absolutely correct.
Great.
Route 66 is the correct answer. Hugh, you're amazing.
You are
really
amazing.
And we appreciate you being one of our best fans, man. I mean,
Absolutely.
I really love the show.
And all your
Good,
voices
It's
too,
a
Hugh.
wonderful show.
And the next time you call back and leave a message, whether it's Rod Serling, and I hope he calls soon.
We love
or perhaps
Rod.
Howard Cosell.
Or Dusty Rhodes.
Make sure you speak up. Or Gordon Soley. Make sure you speak up so we can hear you, okay?
Yeah.
I called, the voice will be there, right there, in the 7th round.
Fantastic.
Right there. Thank you so much, Hugh.
Thanks,
we'll talk to you
Hugh.
soon.
Bye, Hugh.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We love him.
Oh, Hugh's the best.
Another call?
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Ole Gonzalez from
Ole.
Tampa.
Hi, Oli. How
Oli.
are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Great.
Good. Where are you
Good.
watching from?
I'm watching from the home.
Oh, good.
He's
good,
back in
good.
Tampa.
But anyway, I heard Ernie call, Ernie Antonori.
There you go.
And his nephew, you know who his nephew is? Robert Gonzalez, my cousin.
Oh, wow. You see how we're all related?
We're
man?
all
There's
connected.
6 degrees of separation,
Imagine
but not
that.
in Tampa. In Tampa, it's more like 1 degree.
Yeah.
One
He
six.
lived right across the street from Robbie and my uncle, and
Man.
his wife is his wife is Robbie's mother's sister, so that's Robbie's aunt,
Seguro?
Robert's aunt, and they're twins.
Oh, wow.
Man. That's
Small
incredible.
world. Oh, yeah, I wanted to tell you while I've got you on the air in front of everybody, your check cleared today. I got it today. So you're in, your seats are good, as opposed to the story previous where it bounced, right? No, no, your check is good.
It wasn't like that.
It didn't bounce. Your 2
Yeah.
seats are secure, so we'll be sitting next to you over there.
It's
at
going
the
to be
game.
fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, you guys.
Oli,
forward to it.
frogs or what's up, guys?
Let's go with the what's up guy.
Thank you.
Okay,
What
what's
is
your
it?
number?
And my number is 28.
28. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Oli. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Gosh, the callers keep coming. We got about 8 minutes left. Here we go. We got to do that bolita drawing, but we got to take this caller as well. Caller, we don't leave anybody out here on the Tampa Native Show. You're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, this is Rick from the Deep South.
Hey, Rick! Up the pole, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Haney.
On one night, this is the first, we had the Northeast correspondent calling from New York, and we have the Deep South correspondent calling from Curitiba, Brazil.
Welcome.
Boa noite.
Yeah, it's a little windy up on the pole.
On the pole,
I would
I bet
imagine
it is,
it would
right?
be.
That's funny.
Well, tell us a funny story, Rick. Tell us your recollection of Busch Gardens, or if you have a question for Brewer Steve, now's a good time for that.
I was thinking about the answer to the first question there. Was it Chester Holiday?
Oh
wait a
my
minute.
gosh,
Say that again?
It was.
The Chester Holiday?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen,
have a winner.
another first. Not only do-
Winner, chicken dinner.
Winner, chicken. Not only is this the first time that we have our Northeast and our
South.
Deep South correspondent calling, but this night is the first night that we actually have two Tony Zapponi Tampa Trivia question winners on the same night.
We can't stump the panel.
That's
There's no
pretty
way.
good
That's
stuff
awesome.
right there. Rick, how'd you come up with that one, brother?
Trivial. I just remember passing by there on Himes many years ago on some Chester Holiday on Himes was there.
Wow, you know, you really impressed the panel. I got to tell you something, man. Make it back up here from Brazil after you get everything squared away over there. We got a job for you here on the Tampa Native Show because we need researchers like you, my brother.
And we need your bolita number right
Yeah,
now.
we need your bleeder number right now, so do that.
And how about Roberto Clemente, 21?
21, let's
yeah.
see.
Wait.
Oh, it's taken.
Oh, it is.
no.
Try again.
How about 20?
35.
30,
35, did you say? Yeah, that's open.
35 is open.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Thank you, Rick.
Rick, you're the man.
Good to
Thanks,
hear
Rick.
from
Unbelievable. We'll have to keep your winnings for you, so when you get back, you can cash them in. How's that?
Sounds good.
Thanks, Rick.
Great.
Call
Thanks,
us
Rick.
anytime. We appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
This will have to be our last call. We got about 5 minutes to go. This will have to be our last call. Leave that image up there, Steve. You can talk about it in just a minute. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name, where you're calling from. You got about a minute.
This is Juan calling from Town and Country.
Juan?
Hi, Juan.
Santayana? Hey, Juan. How are you?
Doing great. I just was waiting for most of the guys to come in, and some of the ones that haven't called before. So
Oh man.
call and say howdy.
Good to
Thank
hear
you
it.
so
Good to
much.
hear
Thank you so
you.
much.
It's
We
nice to hear
appreciate
from
it.
you.
We got Brewer Steve with us tonight. He was Tampa Steve, but tonight he's Brewer Steve.
I heard the introduction.
Yeah.
I changed my identity
And look at
tonight.
him there with a head full of hair. What do you think about that?
It looks good.
The 1990s,
Oh,
huh,
man,
Steve?
look at
That was
picture.
1995.
1990,
No, 96.
96.
It kinda looks
1997.
like flock
Juan,
of
before,
seagulls.
Before we get to that drawing, the bolita drawing, can we get your number?
20.
20, let's see.
I said 20.
20 is
20 was
open.
available. 20 is yours. Frogs or what's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
What's
What's
up?
Catching up. I think it's a
Thanks,
tie.
Juan. We'll come see you soon.
Thank you, Juan.
Guys, take care.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Caller, we see you there. If we can get back to you, we will. We promise. We've got a couple more announcements
bolita?
to make. Bolita drawing.
Bolita,
to you by-
Bolita.
This
This
bolita-
bolita drawing brought to you by
Constantino and
and
Company,
Company Real
Real
Estate Services, Fran Costantino.
La Reina de la Séptima, Fran Costantino.
These are
Thanks,
real
Fran.
bolita balls in the background, by the way.
Isn't
Yes.
that cool?
It's a real set from
They're
1929.
very old.
I think 29.
Yep.
1929.
Yeah.
1929, courtesy of Ron Fernandez.
Thank you,
Listen,
Ronnie.
that was an amazing display
Uh,
of artifacts.
it's incredible.
We had an original porcelain cantina set for those
Wonderful.
of us who know what a cantina was. Stevie, get in there.
That is an artifact.
Hold
actually.
that. Don't shout it out. Don't shout it out.
No,
don't
don't
shout
worry.
it out.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Give me up camera.
Number.
Give me the 2-shot here, guys, and I'll hold the shirt up so everybody can see what this looks like.
It's a great
Look
shirt.
at that. Great shirt. 16th anniversary, La Séptima Cafe.
Colorful shirt.
Brandon, Lumsden. Draw at 702
Number?
Lumsden.
Well, this is going to be easy when it's number 2.
Number 2. Oh my gosh. That would be Kiki.
Closest to without going over?
Yes.
Have mercy.
All of these are open.
Have mercy.
I don't think we've ever drawn
Kiki.
one that low.
You want a t-shirt, Kiki?
Look at that Bolita numbers. That's 1
incredible.
through 100. For those of you that don't know, those were the Bolita numbers and what they used to look like. Original set. There were 3 different sets. Sort of coach business and first class, if you will.
It was a really old wooden box that it's in.
That
too.
was
It
probably the
pretty
coach
neat.
set there. The first class set, if you want to call it that, the highfalutin, if you wish to refer to it that way, were probably painted, maybe ceramic. So you can see they went, they ran the gamut. 100 balls, 1 through 100, and
That
that's
could
how the
very-
game was originally played.
Very well be
It
the
was
only
never legal,
set.
but boy, was it popular. Okay, we've got about 2 minutes to go. I don't want to
That might be the only
lose
set out there
my
too, by the
cue.
way.
Yep.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, before we sign off, and thank you so much for all of our callers. This is a photograph at one of the reunions that was held. Steve told us recently in pre-production that for years they would have reunions. That's how close this family was. Ernie
Right.
was talking about it earlier, that people would come back each year and reminisce
12,
and talk
13
about
years
it.
straight.
And these people here look so happy, like they were having such a great time. I asked Stevie, who are these nice folks? And you said?
Mark, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
But it made a great picture.
But it made a great
But it is a
picture.
real picnic photo.
How
though.
nice
But
it
it
is.
is a
But I
photo.
do
It's a
remember the
wonderful
gentleman. I
place.
just don't remember his name.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's
So,
great.
ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you'd like to come see us, we're going to be this week, Saturday, we're going to be at the Cuban Sandwich Festival, brought to you by Latin Times Media. It's going to be a tremendous
Right.
event right there, Centennial Park Plaza
Come
in
see
Ybor
us.
City.
Well, yeah,
please,
definitely.
please come see us. We've got 2 winners this week from Tony Zapponi's Tampa
amazing.
Trivia of the
First.
Week. On the 7th of December, we'll remind you again next week, on the 7th of December, La Septima will be brought up one more time in front of the Tampa City Council. We're going to have to be there again in force, wearing our La
Trying to
Septima
get
Cafe
rid of
shirts.
Septima.
Because we've got to make sure that the City Council votes appropriately
Yeah.
so that they can change those signs once for good and all. Stevie, I hope you've enjoyed the show tonight.
Man, of course I did. Had a
We
great
did.
time.
You did a
great
great
job.
job. You did
Reminiscing
a great
about
job,
Lots
brother.
of good callers.
And
Well.
I tease you because I can, and we care about you, my good man. And,
Thank you, thank
and I
you.
know that was a kind of a sad, melancholy time in your life when
Yeah.
the brewery
It
closed.
was. It was. Spent half my life there.
But
you know.
but kind of a neat testament to your survival skills, brother. You went, you retooled, and you got yourself qualified to do some new stuff and fun stuff.
And
here
here we are.
Doing
Yeah.
the Tampa Native
Here we
Show.
are.
We love what we do. We'll be here each and every week, and we wouldn't be here without you guys.
That's right.
So make sure you tune in to watch, because we're not going anywhere.
No, we're not.
And thank you to all of our sponsors as well. Steve, you got any last words?
No, I just want to say thanks to everybody who called in, and this has been a great show tonight. Just really
Has.
enjoyed it. Brought back a lot of memories.
On
for me.
behalf of Tampa, Steve, bring up that 3-shot. 15-minute girl, I'm Mario Nunez. Salud.
Salud and happy days.
We love you, Tampa.
Yes, we
Bye.
do.
Back when we were younger and everything seemed new, we used to have a lot of fun, yes we did, no matter what we do. Sleepy days, long summer nights, going anywhere we please, with love that I could call my own, love that I've always known, the city that I call my home, a home from which I never roam. This love affair was meant to be. I love her and she loves me. I remember Tampa, oh, she remembers me. She remembers me. I remember, yeah, yes I do. Oh, oh, I remember, yeah, me and you. I'm a Tampa native, Tampa native, can't you see? I will share my story with you to preserve its history.
All right now, don't forget, Thursdays, 7 p.m. on TBCN, home of the Tampa Native Show.